and they look at Painter's form, Coach Painter from throwing out the first pitch at Wrigley, and they look at you. Who is the choice? Is it you or Coach Painter?
I think it's got to be me. I saw Coach Painter throw that first pitch. It's got to be me.
You grew up playing all kinds of things, but what do other sports mean to you? Basketball is obviously important, going to hopefully player of the year, but you're a guy that's done other sports, and so many people they focus on just one sport, but you've kind of played a lot of things. What do those other sports mean to you and kind of develop you as a basketball player?
Yeah, I mean, they've really helped me kind of have a diversified background. I think I'm very coordinated, and I'm good on my feet. I have strong legs, and I have a lot of different abilities developed because of the other sports I've played. Whereas a lot of people my size were forced into basketball when they were little kids. So they also get those wear and tear injuries on their body because they've been doing the same movements over and over and over and over again since they were little kids. So I think for me, it's helped in a few ways.
See you in Columbus.
What does this mean for Leaside, to what you've done this year, what this program hopefully does here in 3 weeks? So I know those guys are all rooting for you. It sounds like I talked to some people there. They said I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Zach Edey mural painted on the side of a building someday. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I go back to Leaside every year, kind of the hype builds a little bit more. After my freshman year, kind of people would come up to me, they'd recognize me, whatever. Last year it was a lot more. People would always come to me. They'd be like, "Oh, I watch you on TV, whatever." So imagine this summer when I go back, there'd be a lot of people like that. So it's cool, obviously, to be able to kind of put on for my community like that and become a recognizable face in my community.
If they would allow you to sign every autograph or take every picture after a game, how long would you have to stay after a game to get that done?
Usually after home games, they do let me. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour, usually around there. I tried to stay after March Madness, or not March Madness, after the Big Ten title game, but they needed for media, so they dragged me out. But yeah, it takes a while. I don't have any problem with it. It's not like it's like a laborious task for me. It's just something I do and enjoy.
Is that you maybe giving back and for everyone? I mean, because when you came here, nobody really knew who you were.
Yeah, the school's given me so much. So yeah, it's kind of my way to give back, especially to the kids. It's always nice to sign stuff for kids, kind of give them a memory, last them for life, maybe create Boilermaker fans for life.
Take me back to the St. Peter's game last year, and that was obviously, probably one of your worst performances individually. What you learned from that, and just, I think that's the first time a team really had a good strategy against you.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just a weird game. Obviously, I've learned a lot. I've learned how to really value the ball. I think I had 5 turnovers in that game. So I've really, that was something I really tried to focus on this season, was be able to pass over the doubles, be able to read the defense. They had a lot of junk defenses. They would come down on one look, and then they would just switch it up every possession, it felt like. So you can never really get in the flow. So something I kind of learned is kind of just to read the defense every time I catch the ball, and no matter how they're playing, I'll make the right read.
You just seem to be smiling more. And I don't know if that's just, okay, you guys won the Big Ten Tournament Championship, but I think throughout the year you've had, not when you're playing in the games, but you seem to have a pretty happy-go-lucky personality. Is that just, where does that stem from? And just, is that really how this season has been for you?
Yeah, I've always been a pretty happy person. You just haven't, like you said, it doesn't really show up on the court. On the court, I'm just it's like 2 different modes almost. But yeah, I think I've always been a pretty happy person. But the group of guys I'm around has really brought it out of me. I really just enjoy practicing every day. I enjoy playing. I think last year, kind of with all the expectation, all the pressure, all the whatever, it wasn't as fun last year. Whereas this year, it's still a lot of fun.
But you guys didn't start out with those expectations, and you didn't start out with those expectations. But once you guys got through Portland, and then you got to number 1, did those expectations return? And how did you balance, still trying to have fun and enjoy what you were doing, but also understanding where you guys were at?
Yeah, I think also kind of going through it for the second time helps me a lot. Kind of learning how to deal with it last year, and be able to carry that on to this year. But yeah, I think it's just been a great year, a lot of fun, everything we could have hoped of, and I couldn't have asked for a better group of guys to be with.
Is your mom more popular than you?
She might be. She can't even walk around campus anymore.
A lot of guys talk on the court. You seem to have conversations on the court with opponents from time to time. That's always fun to watch. What's that like to go through? Why does that matter?
I just talk on the court, just kind of like say what's up to whoever I'm playing. I don't know, something I kind of do. Sometimes I'll talk to myself on the court when I'm really getting going. A lot of times I'll talk some shit to myself. I almost got in trouble for that in the Rutgers game. I said something and Steve Pike was like, "Oh, you can't say that." I'm talking to myself.
Do you answer yourself
No.
when you talk to yourself?
No, it's one-way conversation.
I wanted to ask or kind of verify a story. I was told that when you went to your first baseball tryouts, your parents weren't thrilled. They thought you were a soccer guy, didn't want you playing baseball, and they bought you a uniform.
For soccer?
For baseball. When you went to a baseball tryout when you were 10, 12, whatever it was, and that kind of sold you. Just kind of, what was that? A foot taller than everybody probably back then. Kind of getting that baseball jersey on, and is that kind of a true story? Like the coach really had to sell you on it.
Yeah. I didn't like baseball when I first started playing it. I kind of showed up at the field one day. My parents brought me to a random field one day. I thought we were just like having a picnic or something, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, there's a baseball tryout over there. You should go over there." I was like, okay, so I went to the baseball tryout, whatever. Didn't like it at first, and that was kind of always their sport. They both played softball together, so they would stay with me. They would throw a ball and play catch. I kind of fell in love with the sport like that, just kind of casually.
How influential were your parents in being volunteers and coaches and everything that you did along the way?
It was great. My dad volunteered on the team for a long time. My mom was always there to support me. Having two sport parents makes sports so much easier. When they have early practices, they would get up earlier than I would, and they would cook me breakfast, stuff like that. They would always drive me to games. My mom, she played sports, but she'd have to get herself to her sports events because her parents weren't really too supportive of sports. So just kind of having them being there supporting me, it's great now. It's something I didn't take for granted.
Zach,